Good morning, class X05. Today I am going to be reviewing greater, less, and equal with you. Greater than, less than, and equal to. So you guys are going to have 3 different assignments working with greater than, less than, and equal to. So let's just review. The first one, for those of you who are going to be working with this worksheet, that's group 3. But this lesson will help all of you. Group 3 and everyone else. The first example, it says circle the greater number. Greater. Circle the greater number. I want you guys to remember that greater is another way of saying bigger. Before we do anything with that first example, let's look at the second example. It says circle the number that is less. And we're thinking of that as less than. So less means smaller. If we skip all the way down to the bottom, just to run through everything and cover equal, it says circle 2 numbers that are equal. So we notice for this last section, we actually have 3 different boxes. So when you're seeing this on Google Classroom, or if you're seeing this through your email or through your parents' email, I want you to draw the boxes. So on your email, on your loose leaf paper or notebook paper, you're going to actually draw the boxes. I think that it would be better if you actually drew the circles first, so that it doesn't really matter the size of your circles, you'll still be able to fit the box. Because if you start out drawing the box and your boxes are too small, you won't be able to fit all of your circles. Try to make your circles line up, like this one has one, and then one underneath and one underneath. Try to make sure you line up your circles the way they are on the paper. It'll be very helpful when it is time to count. So let's go up to number 1, and it says circle, or the first box. We're calling this number 1, number 2, 3, 4, and 5. Circle the greater number. So for you guys, you are going to see which one is bigger. If I'm a person who doesn't understand, or I really can't tell which one is bigger, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cross off my circle. So here's my pen. And I'm going to cross off 1. I hope you can see that. And then I'm going to go over here and cross off 1. Whatever you do for 1, you're going to do for the other. Cross. Cross 1 for you. 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 And this box has 1 extra. I can't cross that off because then there's nothing to cross off here. So this box has 1 more circle. This box is greater. So when I'm looking for the one that's greater, I am just going to circle this box. It's greater or it's bigger. If the question had asked me which one is less than, then I would circle this box because it's smaller. So in talking about that box, let's move on to the second question. You are going to go through and cross off 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, all the same. But this time, you're circling the box that has everything crossed out. All the circles crossed out. Because the box that has the extra circle, whichever one it is going to be the bigger number or the greater number. And when you get down here, there are 2 boxes that have the same amount. And the same amount is what we're calling equal. If you need to rewind this video to help you out and to remember any directions, you may do so. Group 2 is going to be working with the same greater than, less than, but you're going to be using this paper. You don't have to have a printer to print this out, because instead of cutting out the alligators and pasting them, you're just going to be drawing the number and then the square and then the number on your loose leaf paper. You guys are going to be taking pictures of this and sending it to me. So inside the alligator mouth, you see that the mouth is really dark, and it either looks like this or it looks like this. This is the sign for greater than. This is the sign for less than. The way I want you to think about that is this. Let's look at number 1, or letter A. You have 7, you have 8. Again, just like we did with the circles, if you don't know which one is bigger, you can draw circles if you want. You can draw lines like dashes. So I can do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 on my scrap paper. And then I could just go in and cross out one for you, and I will keep going just like I did with the circles until I know which one is bigger. But what happens with this is we want to think about this as the alligator eating the bigger number, because the alligator is hungry and it doesn't want the smaller number. So for letter A, 8 is the bigger number. So what I would do is I would draw the symbol so that the alligator's mouth is open towards the bigger number. You don't have to draw the whole alligator. If you feel like you want to have fun and you want to do that, that's fine, but you don't have to. We're only drawing the mouth. Again, you can draw the whole alligator if you would like to, if you're an artist and you would like to, but you don't have to. All I need is the open triangle or the open arrow piece. So we would read this as 7 is less than 8. Because the 7 is first, we are looking at the 7 first, and because the mouth is open towards the 8, 7 is less than 8. If I were looking at a number like, let's say, letter B, I would draw my circles or dashes if I didn't know which one was bigger, and cross out one at a time until I found out or figured out which one is bigger. If you don't remember how to do that, rewind the video back to where I talked about the circles. But for this example, 5 is bigger or greater than. So I would read this number as 5 is greater than 2, or 5 is bigger than 2. Over here, I'm still starting with the number that's first, but since my mouth is open in the other direction, I'm saying that 7 is less than 8. If that doesn't help you, then we can remember that when the alligator is facing this way, it's greater than. So we would say 5 is greater than 2, and we can look over here and we can see if the alligator's mouth is open this way, we're saying less than. 7 is less than 8. So you guys for group 2, you actually have quite a few examples here. If you would have 2 pages, it looks like a lot because the work is bigger, or the numbers are bigger. But I know you guys can do this, group 2. And for our last group, group 1, you guys are going to be working with the same concept, but you are going to be looking at numbers up to thousands. And you're going to be comparing them with the same symbol. You're still using the arrows with the open mouths, greater than, and when it's facing that way, it's less than. One of the best ways that I can tell you, again, you won't be cutting out anything and pasting. You're going to be copying the examples in your book, and please number the examples so that I want this one to be called number 1, this one to be called number 2, this should be number 3 when you're numbering it in your notebook. 4, this one should be 5, this is 6, 7, and 8. So you guys have 8 examples. So what I want you to notice is that all of the numbers they have thousands place value. So you have ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. Ones, tens, hundreds, thousands. It looks like they all have 4 places. So they're all in the thousands. So what you're going to be looking for here to compare the numbers is the first thing that I would look at is the thousands place, because it's the biggest place value. So you're going to start over here when you're comparing the numbers. So if we're looking at number 1, I'm going to start here in the thousands place, and then I'm going to look at the next number that I'm comparing it to in the thousands place. And I'm going to recognize that both numbers have a 3 in the thousands place. So that 3 is not going to help me any because they both are 3,000. So since the 3 is not going to help me to figure out which one is greater than or less than because they have the same value, I'm now going to move down to the next number, which is the hundredths place. And I'm going to notice that they both have 8 hundredths. So now I'm going to move down to the next number, which is in the tens place. And I notice that the first number has a 2 in the tens place. This is where the numbers are different. And the second number has a 1 in the tens place. I don't really need to go any farther. These examples are both using the same numbers, but we're looking at place value. So the tens place for the first number is a 2, and the tens place for the second number is a 1, and 2 is greater than 1 or is bigger than 1. So I already know that 3,821 is greater than 3,812. On this line below, you're going to draw a line below, or you could just use a space on your loose leaf paper or your lined paper, and you're going to write out the word. So for here, I would actually write this number. So I'm going to write 3,821, and then I'm going to write the words. The mouth is open this way. The top of the paper has the instructions to help you in case you forget that is greater than. It says it here. Compare the mouth. So then you're going to write 3,821, and you're going to copy. You're going to either copy is greater than, and if the example is less than, you're going to write is less than. So you're going to write 3,821 is greater. You will have more space on your paper than me. Forgive my writing because it's sloppy. And then you're going to copy the second number. Again, you're going to be writing on loose leaf paper, so your example shouldn't be spread out into the next number, but I don't have the space. So group 1, you are going to be comparing the numbers. I need you to write the number of the example, copy the numbers, put a box in the middle, give me an alligator mouth, a greater than or less than symbol, greater than or less than symbol, and then on the next line, right underneath the example. So you should actually, I think it might be better if you lined your numbers up one on your paper 1 through 8 going down this way as opposed to back and forth, so that you'll have space to write the sentences on that line. This work is due today, so make sure you finish it. It is your math work. If you've gotten to a point where you've forgotten how to do something, please rewind the video